as we come closer and closer to the end of the league and things start to die down, one of my favorite things to do, one of my tried and true money makers, is to run Blight. Now, I talk about Blight a lot every league. I talked about Blight a lot this league. And today I just wanted to talk to you about how good and how expensive and how profitable Blight really is, and just kind of a way to do Blight. Now, Blight, to my knowledge, is a challenge, and you've probably either run the challenge accidentally if you followed like things that I've done with Blight in the past, or you still have to do your challenges. But Blight in itself is really expensive, and I bring up the challenges because I didn't realize just how expensive Blighted maps were and just how expensive Blight Ravage maps were. Not only that, but have you guys seen the prices of oils? Oils are out of control. Actually, just out of this world. Now, if we kind of come over here and we look, I didn't realize that golden oils are just a divine, just like straight up 1-to-1 divine. And they sell very, very, very fast. Silvers too. Silvers are 50C, not in bulk. Like, that's crazy. It's probably one of the most expensive leagues that I've seen in a while. Opalescent oils at 18C, black oils at 8 to 10. Like, to me, that's crazy. Even crimson oils are 8C a piece. Not only that, but Blight maps themselves, 25 to 30C. You can sell a full inventory of Blighted maps, 60 maps for multi divines. Like, it's never been that crazy. It's usually like 60 maps, 3 divines, but this league, it's out of control. It's completely crazy. It's off the charts. And like, even like Blight Ravage maps, like they're 50C. If you have a tier 16 Blight Ravage map, they're multiples of divines. Like they're like, it's 3 divines for a tier 16 Blight Ravage map. It has to be tier 16. Can't be tier 14, can't be tier 15. Tier 16, 3 divines. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's all because it's the challenge. It's the end of the league. People aren't doing as much. And today I just kind of want to talk to you about Blight and just how to farm a little bit of Blight and some of the best practices for Blight inside of maps. Blighted maps we could save for later. If you want to know more about Blighted maps, I have plenty of videos, or if you guys need a refresher, just let me know. But today we're going to be talking about Blight inside of maps. And this is one of the things that I was letting the Discord know, that I was like, guys, you have to be doing these. These are crazy. This is something I've been talking about on the Twitch stream. Like, these are nuts. Like, you guys should be doing Blight. Overall, when it comes to doing Blight, you'll see my Atlas tree is very simple, very basic, very to the point. I take a lot of essence nodes because I personally love doing essences, and essences are still very expensive. But as far as Blight in itself goes, we just take all of the Blighted nodes. The only nodes that we aren't taking are the chance for Blighted maps, and we're not going to be taking Blight on the Atlas device. This is because we're going to be using scarabs ourselves. Now, we make sure that we take extra Blight rewards, we take extra Blight monsters, we take variety of chests, we take chests of, oil extractors, we take additional jewelry. We just take all of the good nodes that go hand in hand with Blight. When we run our maps, there are 2 ways to do the maps. One, there is my build can't handle really tight corridors like toxic sewers, and I have a build that does a lot of other maps really well, and you do that map. The ideal, efficient way is to run toxic sewers. I'm going to show you the difference between the 2 types of maps in this video, and the difference between different builds running Blight and how you should approach Blight in itself. Now, the first map that I'm going to do, and the first thing I'm going to talk about, is Jungle Valley. We have a Jungle Valley map here. I've chiseled, I've alked it. In my map device, I have Blight Scarabs, and I'm going to click Essence on the map device. When you're running Blight, there are 2 ways to do it. My build can't do close quarters, like I mentioned, and my build can do open quarters. And the big reason for this is when we do Blight, we want to force all of the rewards to be Blight. And if we're not on a closed map and we're on an open map like Jungle Valley, the rewards are different types and different things that we, really don't want. Now, the Blight itself, the explosion from the pump, is affected by the Wildwood. So if you're watching this during Affliction League, I would say do the Wildwood, and you can see the intense amount of loot that comes from the Blight explosion. For time's sake, I'm just going to skip the Wildwood for now. Just going to grab a little bit of extra of these. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab this. I'm just going to make sure there's no mobs that interfere, and I'm going to show you Blight. Now, the reason I'm doing 2 separate maps is I want to showcase that when you do a map like Jungle Valley, you can see right away my lanes are all over the place. This is unideal for what we want to do. We see all the rewards and all the lanes are completely spread out. Everything is all over the place, and it makes, the experience of Blight really difficult, especially if you don't have a build that's capable of dealing a lot of AoE, or something that just can't handle the spidering of the lanes. When you take immune response and the lanes split like this, it's a lot of mobs that come out from a lot of different directions that you really have to be able to just handle. Now, this build I'm playing right now, I'm using this build purposely. This build is very good at these spidering lanes. Usually something like your tornado shot will be good at this. Your ignites that chain down the lanes will be good for something like this. You know, pretty much anything that can like hit an entire screen or multiple screens will be really, really, really good for something like this. But when I switch and go to Toxic Sewer, you know, I'm going to take a build that's a little bit better for handling that. This build wouldn't do very well in Toxic Sewers. Now, I mentioned that the lanes are all spidering, and, you know, that's a problem. Now, that's a big problem because the mobs are all over the place, yes, but the bigger problem is when the lanes split like this, they have the opportunity to be a multiples of different kinds of rewards. So the goal with doing what we're doing now is to have all of our rewards give us the best opportunity for getting Blight rewards. And to do that, the reward chests have to be Blighted. If they're not Blighted, like you see, they're starting to pop up now. We have a currency, we have an abyss, we have a fragment, we have weapons, we have rings. When this happens and the lanes are spread out, we get a bunch of different reward types and tiles. Now, this is not something that we're aiming for. This is not something that we want. Yeah, it's cool because you get a bunch of other stuff, but the big money maker and the big thing that we're looking for is right here. Now you see we got one blighted map, some oil extractors, and a bunch of oils, and that's what we're looking for. And the only nodes that are going to give us those are those blighted chests. Now, something else to keep in mind when you do this, you are indeed looking for anointed jewelry. Unfortunately, in this attempt, we didn't get any anointed jewelry, but anointed jewelry would be something that looks like this. You can actually Control D with Awaken POE trade and see what kind of oils are actually on it. Now, just say you dropped anointed jewelry and it doesn't show, you can always like hit the hidden button. If you don't see it here, you can just press hidden and it'll show you here. And anointed jewelry is another thing that we're going to be looking for, and that actually comes from like Blight bosses and only from the explosions. But the big money maker, the big takeaway, is that we're looking for the blighted maps. Now, we did this map here. We got one blighted map, 2530C, and a bunch of other oils. And, you know, we're not going to include this, but we did indeed get an oil extractor. Oil extractors in themselves are between 15 and 25C. You can actually see they range a little bit higher. And the big ticket, or the big takeaway from oil extractors, is oil extractors let us extract the oils out of our jewelry. Essentially, if I use an oil extractor on this sapphire ring, I have a 50-50 chance, because of, to my knowledge, it is unweighted, of getting a gold oil, or I think that's amber, I think. So you right click the oil extractor, it destroys the ring, you get a gold oil, you pog to the moon, you just made a divine and some change, and you're really off to the races. Now we're just gonna like hop off this character really quick, and I'm gonna go to another character that's more designed to do the different, more efficient way of farming Blight, just so you guys can see it. Oh, that's the wrong witch. Too many characters this league, man. This league has been great. I just completely have played way too many characters. So we come to this character. This character is the Chains of Command. I've recently did a video on this. I've played this on stream a lot. This, you know, this character is really, really, really good at running Blights, and it really excels in close quarter areas. Now for this, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to alch chisel. We're going to go to our fossil tab, or our scarab tab. We're going to grab a scarab. I did recommend it. I'll say this again. I do think you should be using scarabs. I think you should be using a polished or better. Polished so that you get in additional bosses. Bosses are how the jewelry spawns. More bosses better. I like gilded on bigger, wide open maps because you have more lanes, more rewards. Same thing with winged. If you're doing like a Jungle Valley farm, I think winged is a lot better because it says lanes of blight encounter have an additional reward chest. So more lanes, more rewards. But if you're doing a smaller map like Wastepool, you should really consider just, you know, using this to, you know, be a little bit more cost efficient. If you don't care, if you're like me, you've got a billion scarabs, it doesn't really matter. You're just kind of like, do your thing, just grab whatever you want then. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to chisel out, you know, my map. I'm going to run and make my map to the highest level of difficulty that I can comfortably accomplish without struggling. Because we're going to be doing a lot of these maps. This farm is pretty intense in the long runs of things, and we just want to make sure that we don't have any issues, we don't have any problems. We can just kind of like go through our business, go do our map, and do what we want to do. So we're just gonna blitz through the map really quick. By the way, that last build I was playing in the previous map, that build is so fun. And if you guys want to know more about what that is, you just leave a comment down below and let me know, and I'll actually showcase that build in the next video. Because I put that together. My friend Ginger showed me that build. I thought it was going to be a meme. I put it together. It was great. I talked to Arrow about it the other day. Arrow was like, you need to do a video on it. That build is something I'm doing too, and it's fantastic. So you'll see right away, back on topic, when we click the Blight in this map, because it is a smaller, more contained map, we get 12 reward chests, but it's not spidered out. It's not all over the place. It's actually contained for us right here. And this is what we're going for. This is the big takeaway. The reason is when your lanes are condensed, you have a higher opportunity of all of the rewards being Blight. What does that mean? Essentially, when you have a Blight encounter in a map and you click on it to start it and you get reward tiles, at least one lane has to give you Blighted rewards. You will always get one lane that will give you Blighted rewards. And because we're on a smaller map like Waste Pool and the lanes are condensed, all of the rewards get condensed. So if we were in Jungle Valley and we have 12 rewards here, we would get maybe 6 lanes, 2 rewards a lane, maybe 7 lanes, you know, a bunch of 2 rewards and a 1 reward. We get 4 lanes with 3 on each. You know, you get a various amount of lanes with a various amount of rewards, and you lessen the amount of Blighted rewards that you get. But as soon as you come to Waste Pool and you do it like this, you have these, you know, single or double lanes, and at least one of these is going to be Blighted rewards, and at least one of these is going to give us 6 pustules. Now, the goal I had mentioned, we're looking for oils, we're looking for Blighted maps, and to my knowledge, the only way to duplicate Blighted maps is with these dupe nodes, and the best opportunity to do that is to take these nodes. It's the only way, from my understanding, to do it. I actually don't even have all the dupe nodes because I'm doing other stuff trying to level characters and have a good time. Now you'll see right away, right here, we have 6 reward chests that are currency. Like, that's pretty good. We're okay. We're happy with that. We really wish that both of the lanes rolled Blighted rewards, but we're not going to be too upset. We had a couple of bosses. You can see right here, we got 2 pieces of jewelry. I almost called them anointed necklaces, but they're rings. We got 2 pieces of jewelry. We could check them right away. This one has an opalescent on it. This one has another opalescent on it. You can actually, I think in Awake and Filter Blade, you could filter, I want to say rings to show gold and silver only. I don't think it does necklaces, but I'm pretty sure it does rings. Me personally, I just check them all. It takes 2 seconds to check them all. It doesn't really bother me. But you'll see right away, we click on all of these and we get 2 oil extractors, a bunch of oils, a couple of maps, and we're pretty much just on, you know, on our way to success. The more lanes of Blight you have, the more opportunity you have to get Blighted chests, as I've shown you. Now, when you do this farm is very flexible. This farm is really good. I really suggest that you do it on Waste Pool. You see right away in this video the very big difference between the lanes spidering and the lanes being condensed. I also recommend the build that is very good at either igniting the lane, proliferating the lane, exploding the lane, very good at controlling the lane, a solid minion build. I wouldn't really take something that doesn't really just kind of like explode, ignite, or proliferate. That's my personal opinion. All builds can Blight. All builds can do it well and efficiently, especially when you use towers, but not all builds completely overly excel, like the Chains of Command build, for example, or like any Ignite build. So like if you were playing like an Ignite Chieftain, for example, and you got the Ignites to go off and to explode, those Ignites would chain all the way back to the portal and leave everything dead at the portal. So, you know, I know Ignite Chieftain is really popular this league, and it's actually really good at doing Blight. I'm not too sure about the cast when stun version, but if you were like self-casting and you were able to like trigger it, so like the Fulcrum variant that was like, you know, either Penance Brand or RF would be like really good at doing this. Now, in terms of everything else, I had mentioned the Atlas Tree. This Atlas Tree will be for you in the description down below. I am not going to include the Abyss stuff. I will include the Essence stuff for you. I will make the tree for you. I have the Abyss stuff personally because I was doing Abyss and I like doing Abyss. I think Abyss is really good. If you want to take Blight to the next level, you can actually come over to trade and you can actually look for sextants that you can grab. These sextants are really good and I really recommend them. The cost of building and upgrading towers is doubled, but since we're playing a really strong build like Chains of Command or Fulcrum Chieftain, we don't really rely too much on towers. We don't care about that. The big takeaway of what we do care about is oils found in your map are 1 tier higher. So that means if I find opalescent, it tiers up to silver, black tiers up to opalescent, silver tiers up to gold. And these sextants are really noticeable, especially when you're doing the farm to get extra oils. And I really, you know, I heavily recommend them. You can see they're not very expensive. They're about 10C a sextant, and you know, they're really well worth using. The big thing to note too, if you use that sextant, there is a node here that says oils and maps have a chance to be 25% higher. to my knowledge, these stack. So you can tier up with the sextant, and then you could tier up again with this, and you can really just kind of go from like gold blessed all the way to gold, to my knowledge. It could have changed, it could not, but I have noticed that I've gotten more gold oils and more silver oils using both of these combined. And I, like I said, I can't speak highly enough for the sextant. I really, really, really recommend it. But overall, that's it. If you're looking to sell your bladed maps, there's a lot of people who are still buying bladed maps. You actually throw them in a 30C dump tab. People will message you for them, and then when they message you, they'll usually ask how many, or you can ask them how many they want. Or if you're like me and you're playing a character like this and you just have responsibilities and you can't always grind, I run my blighted maps, and I think they're great to run, and I look for blight ravaged maps, and especially with a build like this where you can mostly just AFK, and the more you invest in it, the more you can just fully AFK. So me personally, I will just like go do a bunch of these maps. I'll farm up a bunch of blighted maps. You can see right now over like 2 or 3 days of farming, very casually, I have tons and tons and tons of maps, and I've just been running them, and I've been having a great time doing it, and it's been fantastic, and I haven't really had any major issues at all. And the oils are still selling, and they're still like selling really well. I've actually been using Blight to fund a lot of my crazy projects that I've been doing, you know, off the side. I get a lot of help from you guys, but when I'm not really, you know, around and I'm just kind of doing my own thing, Blight has been a really good moneymaker alongside essences. So for now, friends, I leave you with this. And if this has worked out great for you, or you have some other cool things that you want me to talk about or discuss, feel free to leave a comment down below. I really encourage you guys to join the Discord. We're doing a lot on the Discord lately. We're playing Last Epoch, we're playing POE, we're just kind of hanging out with everybody. The Discord's been super active, and I love having you guys there and interacting with you guys. And overall, I look forward to the rest of the league and seeing what comes out of it. But for now, friends, I'm going to get this one out to you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.